Hey, it's Steph. Thanks for watching today's video. I have a very exciting collab today with two of my favorite people. It's Kay from Makeup Lens and DW from Deb's Beauty Diary. We have just been constantly talking about ideas for a collab because we have a group chat. We just talk every day about anything and everything, but we just were itching to do another collab. If you missed our first one, I will have it down below. We basically picked two shades from three different palettes and had to create a look with the same shades. But in this collab, we decided to talk about basically if all of our makeup was gone. So, I mean, if it vanished in thin air, or if something happened where we lost all of our makeup, what are the products that we would go out and buy immediately? So we did say we would do a full face of makeup, and hopefully we all interpreted that a little differently. It might make it pretty interesting. But before I get into what products I would repurchase immediately, if you are coming from either Kay's channel or DW's channel, thank you for clicking on my video and watching. I hope you stick around. I do mostly panning content, which means I'm actively trying to finish and meet goals on my makeup and beauty items in my collection. I am on a no-buy. This is my second year in a row, so I'm just trying to think of creative ways to get use out of the products that I already own. So if that sounds good to you in any way, I hope you subscribe before you leave, and of course, give this video a thumbs up. So I am wearing all of these products right now. I decided to do it a little differently where I filmed myself putting these items on, and then I will talk about them, but while I talk about each product, I'll put a clip up, probably gonna be over here. I'll put a clip of me applying it. I thought that would be interesting while I talked about it. So I did mention that I kind of hope we interpreted this idea in different ways, because if I were to go out and buy a full face of makeup, I would skip some steps. If you're familiar with my channel and you see my videos, that version of me is panning Stephanie. And I mean that in a way that I have a ton of products on my face, usually, because I'm actively trying to use up products in my collection. I will, talk about each category, and if I don't have a product in that category, it's because I wouldn't actually buy it in real life. So, the lighting just changed. I think the sun went behind a cloud. Hopefully it doesn't look terrible, but if you're confused why I am using products right now, like in my everyday life that I wouldn't normally use, it's because I've either received them as gifts or I bought them in the past and it just doesn't fit my preferences now, but I'm trying to use it up, and so hopefully that makes sense. But the very first step in a typical makeup routine is primer, and I actually wouldn't buy a primer. I am not a primer, how do I word this? I don't feel like any of the primers that I've used make that big of a difference in my makeup application or longevity. I do get oily in my T-zone throughout the day, so maybe there's a primer out there that would help with that, but so far, I just feel like it's an unnecessary step. So I actually skipped that one. So the first product I'm going to mention is a foundation. I do prefer a medium to full coverage, and even if I wasn't, trying to stick to a budget in this video, because buying a full face of makeup can get expensive. So I will say I did strategize some of my items so I wouldn't have to spend a bunch of money, but I truly love this foundation from the drugstore. It's the L'Oreal True Match. This is the reformulated bottle. I have repurchased this over and over and over again, and this one I'm about halfway done with it. I made sure to keep it upright so I could show you where it has settled, but like I said, I have this on today, and as you can see in the demo, it's just it's just a really nice foundation. It has really great coverage, but it's very lightweight. It's a great shade match for me. I have the shade C2. I may experiment with the shade next time. I might get N2 to see if that makes a difference, but I am pretty cool toned, but my skin it's like neutral cool. So I found this online for $13.99, so that's not the most affordable foundation, but it is relatively affordable from the drugstore. And I will give you a running total at the end, by the way. The next step that I would purchase is concealer. I went back and forth between a few concealers. I really love the NYX Bear With Me concealer, but that is a little pricey, and it's like slightly too dark for me. So it's mostly like a summer concealer for me, but I've just been loving my Catrice Under Eye Brightener. And I know this technically is not a concealer, but I use this by itself. I don't put a concealer on top of it typically when I wear it. Of course, I am panning a concealer right now, so I do put a concealer with it because I'm trying to finish it. But on an everyday basis, if I wasn't panning any other products for my under eyes, I would just wear this by itself, and that is how I have it on today. You will see in the demo the beautiful coverage. I have the shade 010 Light Rose. It is just a really nice pink leaning under eye corrector. And I have a beautiful, nice pan. I do anticipate finishing this year, so I will have to repurchase it. And I considered not putting this in because I have to get it on Amazon or the Catrice website. Okay, I did have to like move my tripod, so if the angle is a little different, that's why. But I think I was done talking about my Catrice under eye corrector. I love that thing. It's worth it for me to order it online because I don't think I can find it in person, but online I found it for $6, which is a steal because that thing lasts me quite a long time. So the next step, I actually really love cream contouring. I'm not a huge fan of cream blush or cream highlighter, but I would definitely purchase a cream contour. My favorite cream contour at the moment is from AOA Studio. You can get it on shopmissay.com, but I didn't want to order just one thing from that website, and I don't think I can get it anywhere else. I looked on Amazon and I couldn't find it, so I had to pick a different cream contour, and I decided to try something new. I've seen a ton of talk about the new e.l.f. I wrote it down, the e.l.f. Camo liquid bronzer and contour, and the shade Fair looks really nice. Of course, I don't have that product, so in my demo I am using my favorite, my AOA Papa contour. I have the shade Nude. So if I was able to get this in store or Amazon a reasonably way, I would, because it's only like $2. I think it was $1 something. But the e.l.f. liquid contour is $7, which I think is still pretty reasonable, especially I'm sure it will last me a long time. So like I said, I'm not a huge fan of cream blush or cream highlighter, so that is something that I would skip. I do own a few cream blushes just from the past, and I really want to try not to buy any in the future ever again. But I am trying to actively pan them, so I have to use them in my current everyday life. So moving on to the next step, I do have to set my face every day. Like I said earlier, I get a little oily in my T-zone throughout the day, and I just prefer the feeling of set makeup. And my favorite right now is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Loose Setting Powder. I have the shade Translucent. I can find this on Amazon for $4, which is amazing. But of course, when I was looking for this video, I was having a very hard time finding this product. I was like, oh no, am I gonna have to pull something in? Like, I couldn't find it on Amazon, like the translucent the translucent shade specifically, but I did find it on Target. It was either Target or Ulta finally. Like, I feel like the first time I looked I couldn't find it, but I did end up being able to find it for $6.69, which is a good deal because that Wet n Wild loose powder works great on my skin, looks really nice, and it lasts like throughout the day, but also the amount of product that I get in there is really good for the price. So I am skipping powder bronzer as well. If you are familiar with my preferences, and basically anytime I wear bronzer in a video, I complain how orange and dark it looks on me. Even like cool tone bronzers that other people say are cool tone, they're not for me. So if I was realistically buying a full face, I just wouldn't get a bronzer. So I'm not going to include that. And I was a little strategic with my blush purchase, and I do have it here, so you'll see me apply it. But I decided to purchase my Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush. I have the shade 03 Goldie Cassis. What did I just do? I should have wore earrings today. So I picked this blush because it has like a really nice luminosity to it. It's definitely not glitter. It's not like, it's a very light, like fresh looking blush on my cheeks. You can see it here. And so I decided to buy this instead of buying a blush and highlighter because on an everyday basis, I probably would not wear a highlighter. Even though I have favorite highlighters in my collection, I actually never wore highlighter until I started panning. And I think that's just so interesting that like I have created steps in my routine because I have to use them to pan. Like, why don't I just get rid of them? I don't know. Because I do enjoy the highlighters that I have. But again, if I were to buy a bunch of makeup, I wouldn't buy another one. So that blush is currently $5.99, so very affordable. You can see a theme here. I do not care about high-end or mid-range products. I feel like I can find just good enough products, or even ones that I love, at the drugstore. So my eyeshadow palette was a little, I mean, it wasn't challenging at all. Like, obviously, if you know my preferences, I love neutral, cool toned eyeshadows. And you can tell my eyes today what kind of palette that I chose. And my gut feeling was to choose the ColourPop of Quartz palette. I have been loving this. And it is what I used for my look today. It's such a beautiful, neutral, cool palette. But I feel like I would want a little more variety. If I were just going to get one palette, I would want more than just these shades. So I decided to get another ColourPop palette that I do not own, but I've wanted basically since it came out. And it is the Stone Cold Fox palette from ColourPop. So this has a ton of shades, which is one reason why I don't currently own it, because I have so many other eyeshadow palettes that I just felt like I didn't need this giant palette specifically. Like, I have a lot of ColourPop like 9-pan palettes that I feel like I could combine and it would equal that palette. So like, if I combined this palette with that Stove palette and Making Mauves, like, I feel like the Stone Cold Fox has those shades in it. I mean, it's might not stop me from buying it in the future, but currently I do not need it. But that is the palette that I would go out and buy if I only was going to have one palette in my collection. And that leads me to a brow product. So again, if you're familiar with my channel, I'm currently using eyeshadow in my brows, and I feel like that palette would definitely have an eyeshadow shade in there for me, so I wouldn't buy any other brow product. I hope you guys don't feel like I'm like cheating, or I don't know how I could cheat this concept, but I really genuinely don't think I would need it. like a brow pencil. I used to love micro brow pencils. So, I mean, if I were to find the eyeshadow just wasn't cutting it for me, I would get the NYX micro brow pencil or the CoverGirl micro brow pencil in like a taupey cool tone shade. But I mean, those are like $3-4, right? Hopefully, I don't know. But yeah, I would skip a brow product because I really wouldn't need one. For mascara, I'm just gonna repurchase my Essence Lash Princess. This is my current go-to mascara. I did recently buy a couple other ones just to try. But yeah, this is so affordable. You can get it at Ulta. It's $4.99. I always get it on sale for $3.49 though during like Ulta sales. And I get it on Amazon if I need to. I specifically like the green one, but I actually haven't tried any of the other colors, so let me know. I have heard someone talk about the pink one, I think, but I would repurchase the green one. And now we move on to lips. So I am actually shocked because if you asked me about maybe a year or so ago, I would say I do not like lip liner. I would never need a lip liner. I'm not a lip liner person, but I would actually buy a lip liner and I would pick the NYX, just their classic wood lip pencil. And this is the shade Bloom. So this is a beautiful, I'll open it up, just a really nice pink. And it looks really good on my lips, but I felt like this could help me transform some of the lip products that I will talk about in a second. So I thought this was going to be really versatile for me. I could build it up. I could wear it like sheer under like a lip balm or something. I feel like that's a really good shade that would be versatile for me. And that was $5 online. So when it comes to lipsticks, I wanted 3 different formulas. So I feel like this is the area where I went like excess, because I could easily just get one or just use lip balm over that lip pencil. But the first one is my long wearing lipstick. So I am a liquid lipstick lover. When I used to work in an office for 10 years, different jobs, but 10 years, I would wear liquid lipstick to the office because I knew it wasn't going to go anywhere. And the dryness didn't really bug me too much. So I knew I would want one of those just for like special occasions or if I'm going somewhere without my son. But I would get the Maybelline Stay Matte Ink. I really like that formula. It's pretty thin but long wearing on me. And I have not tried this shade yet, but my mom has the shade Lover, and I just think it is gorgeous. So I would get the shade Lover. Of course, it's a cool tone pink. Like, are you surprised? But that was $10.99 online. I feel like my voice is going. So the lipstick that I'm wearing today is just for like my everyday cream lipstick. Just something easy to throw on, but it has a little more pigment to it. And that is the Maybelline, what are these even called? The Sensational? Are they Sensational? Yes, Maybelline Color Sensational. This is a matte color in the shade 665 Lust for blush. You'll see in the application, I literally just did one swipe on my bottom lip and I put my lips together. My baby is waking up. That is just a beautiful lip color for every day. And my last lipstick, I wanted like a sheer option. I'm going to turn his monitor sound down. I really wanted a sheer lipstick option because I am loving my Revie Beauty Effortless lips, but those are like $20 and I'm not, especially if I'm doing like this or I'm buying a bunch of makeup at one time, I don't want to spend $20 on a lip product, but I really love the formula. So I was looking online for a sheer lipstick that had some pigment but not too much, and I felt like I could pair it with this liner. And I, of course, was seeing a bunch of stuff about the Revlon Super Lustrous Lip And so I actually tried one out and I really love the formula, but I got the wrong shade, so I can't show the shade here. But I looked online again, and the shade that I would try again is Secret Club. It just looks like a really nice mauve tone, maybe leaning more neutral, and then I could tweak it with my lip liner if I wanted to, and that was $10.49. Oh, I forgot to say, this Maybelline lipstick was $5.64. So I feel like I did pretty well with this. These are genuinely the products that I would buy first. And the total with all of those products was $111.78. So around $100. I mean, that number seems so big, but for a full face of makeup, I feel like these days that's pretty good. Of course, we didn't talk about like tools, and I mean, maybe we should have, but I do get my sponges off Amazon. They're the Away Papa sponges. These are like $9 for a pack of 10 or a pack of 8, something like that. And these last me forever. And then, yeah, I would just buy a cheap set of brushes. I am not a brush connoisseur. Like today, I just use Profusion brushes. I think they're both. I'm pretty sure this is a Profusion brush too. So yeah, I would totally just buy like a cheap set on Amazon or at Ulta. I'm not really picky about my brushes. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna close it out. Hopefully my son goes back to sleep. But if you enjoyed, give this video a thumbs up. And of course, if you're not subscribed, I hope you do so before you leave. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.